Hello, this is Mindy from Camping Earth, and today I'd like to give you a lesson on how to properly build a fire. Now this fire can be in a primitive campground setting, a traditional campground setting, or even in your backyard. But there are some very basic rules that you need to follow prior to building your fire. So let's begin. The first thing that you need to do is you need to assemble your materials. You're going to need newspaper, dryer lint. You're going to need a pocket knife or a box cutter. You're going to need an axe. You're going to need kindling, which are very small pieces of wood such as this. Tinder, which is a little bit larger. And then some larger pieces of wood. The other thing you're going to need is you're going to need several metal containers. And this is extremely important, especially with the rash of forest fires we've been having this year. You need at least 4 containers of water sitting around your fire pit or chimeria. And that is just in case the fire gets out of hand. You don't have to run and get water. It is right there and available for you to use. So, let's begin. Let's walk over here. As you can see, this fire ring right here is a little overgrown. The very first thing that you need to do is you need to stomp down any grassy areas. Now, in a perfect situation, you would want to also get this grass area moist with a watering hose, just to prevent any type of flare-up if a spark does come out of the fire ring. If you don't have a fire ring built, you need to build one. And a fire ring is simply a barrier that keeps the fire contained. And in this example, we're using stone. The other thing that you need to do, again, is your container of water. And I cannot stress that enough. Not everybody has enough hose or is close enough to water. If there's a problem, they can get to it quick enough to prevent a forest fire. Now, I've already built a fire in this fire ring. And what I did, I started with dryer lint, which is this bluish gray substance, newspaper, tinder, kindling, and then some larger pieces of wood. Now the technique that I'm using is called the teepee shape. There are also other shapes by which you can build a fire, and another example is the log cabin. So I'm going to light this. And once your fire starts going, you have a good bed of coals, then you can begin to add larger pieces of wood. And I'm going to let this fire burn a little bit before I add any additional wood. Now, some safety measures when building a fire. Never leave it unattended. And the other thing you also need to remember, which will also be covered in a separate video, is once you're done with your fire, what do you do next? So, as you can see, the fire is beginning to increase, and I'm going to put a few larger pieces of wood. It's okay if your fire falls over a little bit. One last thing I would like to add. Don't ever let any type of horseplay occur around the fire. We're just asking for an accident to happen. So until we meet on the trail again, this has been Mindy from Camping Earth.